choosing is more important than doing. Can
Mm.
you can you speak to that?
The wiring around doing is more important than choosing is deep. There's a an agreement in participating in this workshop that I'd say is quite rare, in that you are invited to only do what you want to do. And sometimes that's said in different workshop settings or in different kinds of environments, but there's an inclination that to be a good student or to really belong here, I'm supposed to do what the person in charge is instructing me to do. And most of us have experienced that to learn, I need to do the activity. And in the practice of the Wheel of Consent, the activity is the practice of choosing. That's actually the practice for the 3 days. And so every time there's an opportunity to I'll offer different opportunities to experiment in different practices, it's always an invitation. And there's a pause to notice, is this something, what are the different ways that I could participate right now? If I'm tuning into my body and noticing what I need, what I want, maybe what I want is actually to go and have a snack. Well, choosing to then go and have a snack is a way to honor what's true for us in that moment. Versus, I think I should step into this practice and this experiment because that's what's happening in the field of the workshop. But the practice is the practice of tuning in, noticing what our body's communicating, what is true for us in this moment, trusting that impulse. Because it's so often that we dismiss it like, well, I'm here, I committed to be in this workshop, I'm here because I said I wanted to learn. If I'm now feeling like I need to step outside and have a break, that can't be true. And so we dismiss it like it's not our personal truth, and we override it. And the next step in the process is valuing ourselves, valuing our limits, valuing our wants, which is another component that we tend to step over and override. That it's fine, I can go along for another 15 minutes. It's only this little bit, versus no, I matter and my limits matter. And then taking an action that's consistent with what we've noticed, what we trust about ourselves, and that we value ourselves. And I was just teaching this past weekend, and one of the participants just shared actually that the first day when she chose to do, I think, to observe the experimentations and practices instead of stepping in herself, she had this moment of, I heard Helena say that this was an okay way to participate, but the alarms were, but am I actually in trouble? And by the third day, there was okay, the trust had been developed both within herself and with the room that it's true. If you're snoring in the corner, I'm celebrating. So that means you're actually really, you've discovered that this is a place where you get to honor what your body needs in this moment and what you need in this moment, and you feel safe enough to relax and access that here. Is is quite a radical environment to get to exist in for a few days. That here, what matters is that I honor myself for 3 days. And that's a rewiring that happens that we get to keep with us when we come back into our regular life of demands and expectations and habits.
That's one of the big takeaways that I had was that we practice the practice. I don't know how many there are per day, but the entire thing is practice, and we practice again, and then we experiment again. And every single time there's the offer to practice, there is also the offer to observe, to have a snack, to go for a walk, to journal. every time we're reminded. And it's so funny because my experience after 3 days, I practiced every time. And then on the very last day, the very last practice, I was exhausted. And again, I was surprised to hear Helena give the cue, the offer. Remember, you can journal. And you said it every single time. And it was that time where I remarked on the fact that it had been said every single time that I was going to take advantage of that this last time, even though it was the end. And that was a profound, as a facilitator, a profound piece for me, was that you don't just set this code at the beginning and think it's taken care of. People have to, when we're really rewiring, we have to have the practice and the reminder of from the other that we have permission. Remember, you have permission, because you don't remember you have permission to not behave in the way that we've been taught to behave.